The next control structure that we're going to be talking about is the if-else conditional statement. The if-else allows you to execute one or more statements when a condition is true, and then execute one or more other statements when the condition is false. So this is how an if-else statement looks. You have if, you pass in the condition in the parentheses, you list the statements, and then after the first set of closing curly braces, you're going to have your else statement, and then you have your new opening curly braces, and then you'll list the other statements. So the important thing to remember when using this particular construct is that unless the condition is explicitly met, the else statement is going to be executed. So in other words, the statements after the else constitute the default action. These statements in here are going to be the default action, whereas the statements after the if condition are the exception to the rule. If we were going to diagram out the program flow of an if-else statement, it's going to look something like this. You can see that the condition is going to be tested, and then it's going to have an action to do if it's false and an action to do if it's going to be true. So what we'll do is we're going to incorporate an if-else statement into our PHP script that is parsing our form. So what we're going to do in the script that we've been working on is we're going to go ahead and we're going to add a new conditional. And this is going to be an if-else conditional. And we're going to use this script to validate the birth year, and we're going to be creating a new variable in the process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert this script after my email script, and this is going to be used to validate our birth year information. So we're going to use our if statement, and we'll be using the isNumeric function, and I'm going to pass on into the parentheses my post year information that I'm picking up from the form, and then we'll open up our curly braces. So in our conditional, we're going to start off by using the isNumeric because we want the variable to be a number. So the isNumeric function is going to be a better choice rather than the empty function, and we're going to use this to check the value. So this is the basic starting point to a particular form element's validation. Then what we're going to do is we're going to create a new variable. So the new variable is going to be called age, and we're going to make that equal to 2018 minus whatever the year that the user enters into our form. We know that if the post year variable has a numeric value, meaning that the condition is going to be true, then the age variable is going to be assigned the value of the current year minus the provided year. And there are ways that we can use the date function in PHP, but for right now we're just going to hard code the current year into our equation. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pass on our else clause, and this is going to handle what happens if the year does not have a numeric value. So we'll open up another set of curly braces, and we're just going to use a print statement and pass on a message to our user. And then we're going to set our OK variable to false. And this is going to work the same way as in the case if any of the validation routine fails. And then in our final print statement, this is if everything is successful, we're going to go ahead and put another print statement here. So I'll just keep the current one, and then I'm going to use print again, and we're going to print out that you're going to turn, and we'll print the value of age. So if the OK variable still has a value of true, then when the submitted data, it's going to be passed into our validation routine, and that means that the user's age is going to have been calculated, and it can be printed as well. And I think what we'll add into our statement is we're just going to add another if statement, and we're going to make sure that the user's password has been validated as well. And for now, we're just going to be validating that the user has entered something into the password field. We'll expand upon this a little bit later on, but for now, we're just going to make sure that the user has entered something into this field. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a CSS inline style, and we're just going to make a error style. And we're just going to set the color to red so that any sort of error is going to show up with a red color. So in my error statements right here, where I'm telling the user to do something, I'm going to assign my class of error just to make the text stand out a little bit more. So we'll just put this in all of our error messages right here. And let's save this and give it a try in the browser. So here, when I try to send the form without filling anything out, you can see that it's giving me error messages for the email, the password, and the digits. So if we come back here and we add an email, and we add a password, and we add the year that the person was born, and if I click send it, then it's going to return that you have successfully registered and that you are 18 years old.